What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right. What is it? Is it Sunday? I think it's Sunday, right? Yeah, it's Sunday. Sunday night Radio Baloney Live. I am your host, Richie Baloney. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody, all the dads out there have had a nice Father's Day. I know that I have. And yeah, let's get to it. What are we talking about? Oh, it looks like we got Rosie is having a family game night for Father's Day. We'll be late after she wins. Probably got the first like. That would mean she got double good karma if she got the first like. Do you guys know? Does everybody know that when you like the stream, you get free good karma from me? Free good karma. I build up this reservoir of good karma while I'm preparing for the stream and during the stream. If I kept it all to myself, that would be bad karma, kind of defeat the whole point of the thing. So I must give it away and then keep replenishing, so that I keep my good karma, but I can't keep too much. So when you like the stream, you get good karma right there. In these troubled times, if you've taken a look at the news, in these troubled times, can you turn your face away from some free good karma just for liking the stream and also subscribing to the channel? I mean, come on. All right. Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to the menu. What are we talking about tonight? First off, it wouldn't be any day without leftists ruining it or trying to ruin it. From the Toronto Star, on Father's Day, it's crucial to recognize the importance of mothers. What? What? Don't they have a day? All right, we're going to look at that. We're going to kind of be going back and forth from this live stream from Live Now. That's going to be, it's doing a lot of Israel-Iran stuff right now. So we'll just kind of keep popping back in and taking a look at this. They're also, looking at the Boelter, Vance Boelter, who's still on the loose as of the start of this stream. They're giving updates on that as well. We're going to look at, just spend a little bit of time with this 250th anniversary. And that was supposed to be terrifying. And it was like Moscow, or some giant Nuremberg rally or something. That's what we were told. Yeah, it wasn't. It just was kind of like a fun thing, and not that dark and scary and terrifying, and not, the herald of some new dictatorship. Let's see. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about this guy here who assassinated 2 people in Minnesota, shot 2 more. Weird story. This is just it's just very weird, this story. And there's still not entirely, well, we're not going to know everything about this yet. Maybe not ever, actually. Who knows? Yes, we're going to talk about how the U.S. Army 250th was not terrifying. And I mean, the MSNBC had to even admit, yeah, it's actually not super scary. It doesn't seem to be heralding the Trump dictatorship. Let's see. We'll take a look at what happened over the weekend with the No Kings thing. And, it didn't turn into the summer of love. You've actually got some idiots in Canada that had to had to protest. It's just so dumb. It's so dumb. Why? It's got nothing to do with you. Anyway, we'll take a look at what happened on the weekend. I thought if it was going to pop off, it would probably be on the Saturday when they're having the big military festival. But, there was some scattered stuff and just obviously random lunatics. One weird thing about it is, we seem to be seeing, CNN, MSNBC, their average viewer is over 70. They've recruited all of these seniors into this weird boomers crusade against Trump. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Maybe they're all having acid flashbacks or something. I don't know. Let's see. Trump and Elon back together again. But we're going to talk got a little bit of stuff on Elon here. And, we'll spend a second on that. Israel, Iran. We'll take a little bit of a look at this stuff. In fact, I should probably refresh that. It's something we're probably going to pop in and out of. as there's news. We have woke mind virus stuff. Ooh, woke mind virus. That's fun. Global March to Gaza. I actually talked about this on the premium stream last night, but there was like nobody on this premium stream. I didn't tell anybody I was doing it. I just thought I watched the game. It was disappointing, and I thought, well, I'll get the last couple of hours of Rumble premium streaming done. So we did. So we'll go over this again. It's a bunch of Westerners who went to Egypt to march to Gaza, and it turns out the Egyptians hated them, and it did not go well. It turns out these people do not understand the world at all or what they want. Let's see. We got some memes. Of course, we got some memes. We got some Canada stuff. We always got some Canada stuff. Of course, we're going to get through that. We got the last tab. There's like a lot of animals and stuff, and just kind of nice stuff, that we don't hate. And yeah, so a bunch of palate cleanser stuff. So there we have it. That's everything we're talking about tonight. And that's it. Let me have a sip of ranch juice. Ooh, that's good. Iced, but with caffeine. Very nice. That's Sydney Sweeney. She has excellent dress choices. Excellent. That's a palate cleanser for you right there. Talented lady. Talented lady. All right. Where's everybody in the chat? What is going on? Everybody get into the chat now. Let's go. It's time. So, from the Toronto Star. So, Toronto Star is just a liberal newspaper in Toronto. By liberal, I mean radical, extreme leftist paper in Toronto. Liberal doesn't mean what it used to anymore in Canada. Now it means illiberal. Now it means radical left. Radical left. I would even say left-wing extremist, I would say. Let's see. Opinion. On Father's Day, it's crucial to recognize the importance of mothers for some reason. Because it would be, you know what? It would be toxically masculine to celebrate fathers on Father's Day. That'd be like patriarchy or something. Let's see. So who's telling us this? Mark Bulgutch. Mark Bulgutch is the former senior executive producer of CBC News. Why is that not remotely surprising? Who is this guy? Let's see some of his other articles here, some of his other contributions. Let's see. Pierre Poilievre's view on taxes is not only wrong, it's dangerous. That's right. Pierre Poilievre's dangerous tax policies, wanting to tax you less, is dangerous. Dangerous. I mean, how are they going to afford to get all of those tampons in the men's bathrooms? I mean, come on. Denny Ringus says, how you doing, Denny? Hi, hope everyone is doing well, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there in Canada. Yes, very nice. Happy Father's Day indeed. I have a nice one myself. So let's see. So this guy who's telling us that it's most important to recognize mothers on Father's Day because male feminists have no shame. So let's see. Pierre Poilievre's view on taxes is dangerous. Let's see. Why we should fear the Gulf of America. Why we should fear it. That's right. You'd better fear it. You'd better fear the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Feel fear. Are you feeling fear? Are you scared right now? Maybe you should go hide under your beds. Gulf of America. Let's see. In Washington, politics reaches a new low April 10th, blah, 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 blah. The perfect liberal, or should I say the perfect, just radical progressive in Canada, apparently, this guy, who looks like Alan Arkin. Does he look like Alan Arkin? I don't know. It's surprising. But anyway, he's working that male feminism and progressivism as hard as he can. How do we know? He's working it as hard as he can? Because he just wrote an opinion piece on Father's Day. It's crucial to recognize The importance of mothers. For some reason, if only there were a day to recognize the importance of mothers, huh? If only there was a day for that. I mean, a friend sent this to me, sent me the headline, and I thought, well, this must be parody. This can't be real. I mean, this is like the Babylon Bee. So I checked it out. I looked it up. Yep, it's real. How does this happen? Nobody says, oh, come on. There's nobody in the Toronto Star that just says, oh, come on, we can't publish that. Come on, that's too much. We just sound like idiots now. If we publish this, we have no credibility left whatsoever. And again, former senior executive producer of CBC News. You want to know why Canada's in the state that it's in? Because people like this run the news in Canada. A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. That phrase, often credited to Gloria Steinem, was actually coined by an Australian, Irina Dunn. Well, thanks for mansplaining, Mark. Thanks for your toxic masculinity. It may seem like an odd way to start a Father's Day column. I think it's a retarded way to start a Father's Day column, and I think that everything that's going to come after it is also going to be retarded. But I do it to point out that no matter where you stand on women, men, fish, and bicycles, it is undeniably true that a father needs a woman. It's called Mother's Day. Mother's Day. Even before we got to the delivery room for the birth of my first child, I was ready to surrender. I had watched 20 hours go by from the first contraction, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yet we don't give birth. Okay, but we are a sexually reproducing species that's sexually dimorphic, and traditionally there are different roles for men and women, right? And that's apparent in the fact that we are physically dimorphic. We're not exactly the same physically. That tells you something right there. It's the yin and the yang, right? Each side gives something to the other side that they don't have, and that makes something more whole, right? Right? Maybe both are valuable. Maybe it's not maybe it's not, I don't know what, brave to say, well, just you could never celebrate anything man ever. Maybe that's not brave. Maybe that's just weird. Maybe it's just kind of creepy. Father's Day is set aside so that children can thank dad. That is completely unnecessary. Okay. Who needs men anyway? Who needs men? Do children even need dads? I mean, why would they even value them? Why would a child even value its father? It's the mother's the important one. Don't you know that? Anything else is patriarchy and toxic masculinity or something. Probably white supremacy as well. If the world was a perfect place, a man might show gratitude every day. Oh, God, it's sickening. It's sickening. I mean, this guy's not a young man. Is he still trying to get laid? Like, if the world was a perfect place, a man might show gratitude every day. The world is not a perfect place. That's right. That's right. So, men, you get nothing. You get nothing. It's just constant thanking everybody else. It's just constant, apparently no credit for anything. Sit down, shut your mouth, don't say anything. You've had your turn, I guess. So on Father's Day, when all the attention falls on perhaps the least important character in the delivery room, maybe it's about more than just that. Right? Maybe fathers play a role that's more than just that. I mean, why do children love their fathers? I mean, if they were so, you know, if they were so bereft of value in the family, I mean, this is something that, evolution, from an evolutionary psychology perspective, they would be seen as unimportant, but they are, and children do love their fathers. Maybe there's something, maybe there's something the fathers can give that the mothers don't. Maybe that's important as well. Maybe, maybe there's an example being set that's different from a feminine example, right? Maybe it's a stoicism, right? Men do tend to, of course, it's not every man, every woman, maybe, but men do tend to be, in the mean, a little more stoic, a little less emotional. Maybe that's a good example for children. Maybe that's a value right there, aside from, providing. It seems to me that a smart father would insist on recognizing the blinding truth. The women The woman who made him a father is the real hero of the story. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. Stop your toadying. It's pathetic. Stop your groveling. These male feminists, they are genuinely pathetic. I mean, do women like this? I think, this has been studied. There's been, psychology studies that, women actually find male feminists kind of creepy, and they're more attracted to conservative men because they don't act creepy. They don't grovel. They don't grovel on their knees like this former senior executive producer of this CBC News. This is groveling. This is pathetic. Do any women respect this? Do any women respect a man who grovels like this? Who is so bereft of like just pride in himself? I, I'm I can't believe that women don't look at this, and there's a part of them inside, even feminist women don't look at this and go, there's some part of them inside that goes, ugh, ugh, what does this guy want? This guy wants something. Just to be so bereft of dignity to sit and write this and have it published with your picture and your name. Ugh. Ugh. Just grotesque. I mean, if he's got children, I hope they never see this. They just go like, "Oh, dad is creepy. Dad is so creepy." Radio streamer, good to see you. Turtles, good to see you. All right. So anyway, yeah. Weird. One more time. On Father's Day, it's crucial to recognize the importance of mothers. It's called Mother's Day. That's the day. That's the day for it. Former CBC News executive. Ugh. All right, let's take a look here. Let's look at some of these. Maybe in the future, I'll just always have some kind of live news that we can check in on. I mean, the reason I've been doing it the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 nights or whatever, is because there has been breaking news. There have been ongoing events. But maybe we'll do it more often anyway. USA! 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 So even though this is a live feed, this was taped, obviously, from yesterday. So, I mean, this is not a live feed right now. This is live now. But yeah, obviously that's or is this right? No, they're not doing a speech today, I don't think, are they? Are they doing a speech? I don't think so. Hold on a second. I want to check something out. All right, just give me a sec. All right. Let's take a look at the Iran and Israel conflict. Israel is taking some punishment. Iran has sent, I, I mean, at least one hypersonic missile that I've seen, um, which the Iron Dome seems to be defenseless against. Israel striking sites deep in foreign territory after Iran sends wave after wave of missiles. Yes. Let's see. Israel said it launched Operation Rising Lion to target Israel's nuclear and missile infrastructure. They've developed ballistic missiles as well. Israel's airstrikes on Iran killed top Iranian military leaders and nuclear scientists. Iran launched its own airstrikes at Tel Aviv and other parts of Israel on Friday, killing at least 13. So Israel is getting some punishment as well. It's not a one-sided fight. Although it looks like Iran has had, more of the damage. Trump says Israel and Iran have to fight it out, but believes a deal is possible. There's been a lot of kind of contradictory stuff coming out. That they did know, they didn't know. It's President Donald Trump on Sunday said Israel and Iran sometimes have to fight it out while expressing optimism that a deal can be struck as both countries continue to trade airstrikes amid fears of a wider conflict in the Middle East. I think there's a lot of people who are just thinking the United States should have absolutely nothing to do with it. A lot of MAGA is thinking the U.S. should have nothing to do with this stuff at all. Let's go. Let's check out. So we've got two different sources here. So we've got Al Jazeera, which is going to be one side, and then the Times of Israel, which is supposed to be a kind of centrist, right-leaning source. Let's see what they're saying on Al Jazeera. Israel, Iran updates. IRGC intelligence chief, 2 generals killed. Let's see. Yeah, so it's just they're continuing the strikes. Let's see if we can get this playing.
A direct hit on central Israel. Iran launching wave after wave of missiles and drones through the night, targeting major cities including Tel Aviv and Haifa. People took shelter where they could, and Bat Yam emergency services scrambled to residential blocks where projectiles and debris fell. People's homes have been destroyed. Hours earlier, Israel launched more attacks targeting Iran's critical energy infrastructure. As night fell, an oil depot near the capital Tehran was hit and caught fire. Satellite images released on Saturday revealed the impact of Israel's earlier strikes on the country's nuclear facilities. As dawn breaks on a third day of fighting, world and regional leaders call for calm to stop this conflict spilling into a wider war. Kaylee Callahan, Al Jazeera.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't think there's going to be much. I mean, Russia is, allied with Iran. I don't think you'll see much. Russia has its hands full with Ukraine right now. Let's update this. Iran ballistic missiles trigger sirens across Israel for a third night in a row. Israeli strikes reported near nuclear research facility in Parchin as blast scenes near Fordo site. 2 more bodies pulled from the rubble at Bat Yam building hit by missile. Trump says he hopes for Israel-Iran ceasefire, but they may need to fight it out. So IDF says it detected a barrage from Iran heading towards Israel. So it's Israel is saying they expect it to go on for at least 2 weeks. I'm seeing some sources that I trust saying it will take longer than that, be a lot longer than that, that maybe Israel is bitten off more than it can chew. I guess we will have to see. As for Trump, this is from today. We could get involved. Trump leaves door open for U.S. entering Iran-Israel conflict. We're not at this moment involved. He confirmed. There's been contradictory stuff coming out. I mean, it's the way that Trump operates. He'll float things. He puts things out. Everything is always a part of an ongoing negotiation. So you can't really take everything he says as gospel, because he's always trying out different things. President Donald Trump told ABC News on Sunday that the United States might not stay on the sidelines if the conflict between Israel and Iran continues or even escalates. Now, again, this is kind of how Trump operates. That I wouldn't, knowing how he operates, it's entirely possible he has absolutely no intention of that, but he wants to keep that threat open in the hope of, some sort of resolution through a negotiation, some sort of a nuclear deal with Iran, or brokering some sort of deal between Iran and Israel, which really amounts to the same thing. Israel doesn't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. And considering that the leadership in Iran has been making existential threats about annihilating Israel for decades now, it's not like that's not crazy for them to worry about. They are surrounded by enemies, right? I'm not cheerleading on any of this, but I mean there are facets to this that they just are. Like, Iran has been promising to annihilate Israel for decades, and leftists in the United States or Canada or the West anywhere may not take that seriously, but I understand why the Israelis would take that seriously. I'm not excusing that kind of first strike. They're calling it a defensive strike or preventative strike. But I mean, these are just the realities there. The Middle East is different. It's different. The relationships between these countries are different than like the relationship between like Maine and, Michigan. It's just a totally different world. It's different than the relationship between, Canada and the US. All right. When asked whether Iran had been given a deadline regarding when they must be at the table to negotiate, Trump said there was none. Quote, "No, there's no deadline, but they are talking. They'd like to make a deal. They're talking. They continue to talk. Something like this had to happen because I think even from both sides, but something like this had to happen. They want to talk. They will be talking." Look, obviously Israel is unlikely to stop until they think that the risk of Iran developing a nuclear weapon is completely gone. So whether or not they can achieve that, whether or not they're able to achieve that, I don't know. But obviously they're not going to stop until they feel like they've neutralized that threat. What have we got here? Let's take a look quickly at this Trump travel ban, because every time, when he issues a travel ban, it's always the end of the world, right? The Muslim ban, even though it's not all Muslim countries, for instance. Trump travel ban 2.0. Here's everything you need to know. So Trump has imposed a full travel ban on 12 countries and partial restrictions on 7 others. So this must be the end of the world and white supremacy, I guess. The ban fully restricts or limits the entry of nationals from 12 countries, quote, found to be deficient with regards to screening and vetting and determined to pose a very high risk to the United States, including Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. Can Trump talk to Mark Carney? We're getting an awful lot of people unvetted here. We've got awful lot of like foreign conflicts happening on Canadian streets now for some reason. I didn't want that. I didn't vote for that. I didn't vote for Carney, obviously, but I don't think anybody really, although maybe they did. Maybe Canadians are so stupid now they thought, you know what really livened things up around here? a bit more diversity. How about the Eritrean Civil War on the streets of Calgary? We'll make it into a festival. 7 countries will face partial travel restrictions, including Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. It's heartbreaking. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, how upsetting is it to you, really? Can you get on with your lives if there's a temporary restriction on travel restriction on Haiti or Eritrea? There's a lot of people who'll be freaking out and crying and stuff and, white supremacy or blah, 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 dictatorship, whatever, who don't know what Equatorial Guinea is. Eritrea, they don't know what's happening in Sudan. They don't know anything. No, not Burundi. Not Burundi. Not a partial travel restriction on Burundi. How will we live? How will we get by? I don't know. This all seems reasonable to me. It really does. Let's see, Afghanistan, the Taliban-controlled country. Burma has extremely high visa overstay rates. Well, you don't want that. All right, anyway. I don't think, how many regular people are going to really be upset about this? I mean, CNN will be upset. MSNBC Rachel Maddow will be furious. She'll be furious. She will say, no, not Equatorial Guinea. All right. So let's get rid of a couple tabs here. Where are we going now? Maybe we'll go back to the live feed for a second. What do you guys think?
The most important thing, and I think the important thing is that Trump needs to understand it's in our interest, and he understands that, but I think he really needs to internalize it more. It's in our interest that Israel succeeds. It's in our interest that other countries like Russia and China see that we're going to help Israel and that we're going to advance our own interests. And I think concretely what that means is we have to help the Israelis on destroying Fordow. That's the one nuclear facility that's very deeply buried. The Israelis don't have the capability that we have with the B-2s and the 30,000 bombs. That's where I think Trump could really help. And I think, again, it would help make this mission a success, but it would be a terrific signal that will help him for the rest of his pregnancy by signaling the Chinese and other adversaries is that we're going to advance our security interests.
And you mentioned just the continuity of thought, the shared kind of goals in terms of that. JINSA does have issued an open letter of 68 retired U.S. generals, admirals calling on the U.S. government to publicly support Israel's action and ensure its success in permanently dismantling.
So there's really 2 sides on this, it seems, on social media anyway, and in the media as a whole. There's 2 sides. There's one which is absolutely have to do it. It's the best thing ever. Bombing Iran, best thing ever. We should have been listening to John McCain. The other side is this is the worst thing that's ever happened, and Israel is evil, and blah 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 blah. I'm in the I don't know camp. I don't know. That's where I am. I'm in the I don't know camp. I'm in the history is the history of unintended consequences camp. I'm not an expert on the Middle East. I am not. I understand why Israel would be concerned. I don't know what's in Netanyahu's head. I don't know what's in the government's head. I don't know if it's a cynical move. I don't know, if they can say that, like, the Ayatollahs have been, the mullahs there, the leadership of Iran has been for decades talking about how they think it's extremely important that they annihilate Israel. Right. So the idea of them getting a nuclear weapon, whether or not they were close or not, whatever, I don't know. But just that as a cover story anyway. Yeah. I mean, if there's a country or the leadership of a country that's been really saying, oh, yeah, we do want to annihilate you for like a really long time. That could be a motivating factor. I don't know how close Iran was. It seems like there are people who do. I'm not sure we're hearing from any of those people who know for sure. I think that a lot of Trump supporters are going to, and very understandably, are going to be upset if that the United States had anything to do with it, whether they okayed it or whatever. And that is completely understandable. America first. Don't be involved in these crazy wars. Certainly don't try and start World War III. I mean, that is where my kind of sympathies lie, is don't get involved. But it's geopolitics. It's complicated. But I will say it doesn't look great, because Trump is supposed to be the great peacemaker. And really, he was. In his first term, he was. Abraham Accords, major advance in the Middle East. And I think that's what people wanted to see more of, preventing these sorts of things. Certainly not getting embroiled in them themselves. Certainly not getting the United States embroiled in these things. Hold on one second. I just want to... Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. So there is this from Nick Sortor, just in, it's from 8 hours ago, though. President Trump vetoed an Israeli plan to assassinate Iran's Ayatollah Khamenei, a U.S. official tells Fox. Trump is clearly working towards a peaceful resolution here with no U.S. military involvement. Let's take a look. I mean, the U.S. is involved. They're using American weapons. So there is that level of involvement.
Right now. Good afternoon, Peter.
Good afternoon, Brett. And we can now answer a question that you put to Benjamin Netanyahu that he punted on. A U.S. official is telling us just in the last few minutes since your interview concluded that President Trump did, in fact, in the last couple of days, nix a plan that the Israelis were putting together to assassinate the supreme leader of Iran. So we can put a bow on that as President Trump prepares to come and join us here in Canada. And he is telegraphing the way that he will frame this fight between Israel and Iran once he meets with the other G7 leaders. Part of a long Truth Social, he says, we will have peace soon between Israel and Iran. Many calls and meetings now taking place. I do a lot, never get credit for anything, but that's okay. The people understand. Make the Middle East great again.
Right now.
Make the Middle East great again. I don't know if you really want to do that. That caused a lot of problems. Europe had to start doing these crusades to deal with the, make Islam great again, 800 years ago. So, but I just find that funny. Make the Middle East great again. You can't have Spain. No, that's gone. You can't have it back. Leave Vienna alone. All right, let's go back to here again. I want to check this out.
Regime, if there's a far less gasoline in the country or natural gas.
Okay, I don't want to listen to that guy. Let's go back to here again. Okay. From 7 hours, this is from 7 hours ago here. Direct hits from Iran on Haifa, Israel. Fires have broken out and emergency services are responding. Yeah, this thing's going to go on a while, I think. Yeah, Israel is not unscathed. It's not going to be unscathed. Israel has to operate differently than other countries. So they are very interested in targeting the nuclear facilities and like missile sites and leadership. although not the Ayatollah himself. And of course, there's going to be collateral damage, but I mean that is the way. If they're doing it with a purpose, and the purpose is to destroy the Iranians' ability to build nuclear weapons and also fire missiles at Israel. Iran is just launching them at civilian populations, although they have also hit like strategic locations in Israel as well. But they're fine with it hitting, just random apartment buildings and stuff, which it would not be surprising because, I mean, they have been for decades saying how much they would just love to annihilate Israel. Again, I'm not cheerleading here. These are just, things I think are, these are facts. Let's see. They're targeting. So this guy says, Saul Sadka, Iran made another error. They shouldn't have targeted Israeli civilians. They just killed an Arab Israeli lawyer and his wife with their inaccurate terror weapons. So, I mean, this is the internet. It's like, it's people who either are 100% whatever Israel does, it seems. I know that's not most people, but it's social media, right? I guess that's what gets engagement. So it's either people that just whatever Israel wants to do, they're 100% behind it, and people that just blame Israel for everything, and everything they do is terrible. All right, so let's move on. What else are we going to talk about? I wanted to talk about this the Army 250 birthday parade. And first, let's go here. This is from the Daily Wire. It's not dark. It's not tense. MSNBC struggles to accept fun vibe of Army birthday parade. It's something that we were watching for. Yes, it was so dark. This was just Nuremberg rallies, and this was, 1930s all over again, and terrifying. My view on it was that 250th anniversary is a big deal. If this is totally appropriate, there's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't do that. I mean, if you actually like your country, right? If you want to, assert your patriotism and your belief in the purpose of the country and the purpose of Western civilization, this just seems like a natural. It's 250th, great idea, right? Trump getting elected was the United States coming up to a fork in the road. On one side was managed decline, masochism, socialism, censorship, and essentially just a slow suicide for the country, right? That's what Kamala Harris represented. Just that the country has lost faith in itself, it's lost belief in itself, and it hates itself. And now it's just a long road of humiliation and self-inflicted problems. The other side of that fork in the road was, no, Western civilization is great. The United States is great. It's a shining city on the hill. No, we don't have to hate ourselves. No, it's not this evil empire. That was the Soviet Union. No, actually, it's pretty great. It's done lots of amazing things. It's the the pinnacle of human achievement in terms of technology, science, human well-being, freedom, individual rights, all of that, dominion over your own conscience, all of that. These are all good things, and let's keep going that direction and not burn the whole thing to the ground. So I find it totally appropriate and a good thing. Host Chris Hayes from MSNBC compared the scene to typical Trump rallies, which he claimed could be very tense. I don't know. We've all seen lots of Trump rallies, videos of them anyway, and that's just delusional, very tense. No, they're celebratory. They've always been celebratory, with a lot of smiling, clapping people, and sometimes had a dark, malevolent energy. Dark, malevolent energy. That makes me think of something. Hold on 1 second. It just brought something to mind that I want to find for you. Oh, hold on. That's not it. Where is it? Oh, here we go. So what did he say there? Hold on. It was dark, malevolent energy. Do you remember the red speech? Biden's red speech? Dark, malevolent energy. Chris Hayes says, I don't remember him saying dark, malevolent energy about this. What was this?
The president really did step up his criticism of
extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. Now, I want to be very clear up front.
Dark and malevolent, Chris Hayes says. Dark and malevolent. Where is it? There we go. Okay. So, dark, malevolent energy, and then seemed genuinely surprised to note that the scene playing out at the National Mall had a very different feel. Quote, one thing I will say, I want to go back to you, Ali, again. When we talk about the sort of tension in the country, Hayes began, and sometimes, you and I have both been at Trump rallies. Those can be, very tense, kind of, I would say, dark, malevolent energy sometimes. Must have been all that toxic masculinity and mansplaining going on made Chris Hayes very uncomfortable. Not always, but it doesn't seem like that's the energy on the mall today, which is a good sign, right? Correct, Ali Velshi, who was on location, replied, you're really correct about that, Chris, and it's something we were watching for. And I'm just sort of surprised by the number of people who are at the front of the parade watching, cheering, and then would come and ask to take a selfie. It's a very different mood here, Velshi continued. People seem to be going out of their way to say they're here to celebrate the Army's 250th birthday. So I guess maybe MSNBC was shocked that, all of a sudden Trump didn't send out, the vintage Sherman tanks to just start blowing up buildings and running people over. Weird. Weird. It's just brainless. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at how scary this was.
Say, can you see?
Finest, ladies and gentlemen. Special thanks to our sponsor, Form Energy.
Chris Hayes is like, what? He's just waving at the people. He's not shooting at them. What? Well, it's just a bunch of people who are happy and don't hate themselves and their country. Wow. Again, waving and not shooting at the crowd.
War on terrorism saw the introduction of a range of new technologies on the battlefield. The 8-wheeled Stryker armored combat vehicle is the first new military.
Yeah, there's nothing really. Yeah, it's not that terrifying, is it?
And the renowned Corps of Cadets. The Corps of Cadets' central purposes has remained building individuals that exemplify respect.
So there you go. Everybody was scared, apparently. apparently there was lots of people saying they were scared. They were scared. Oh, it's a dictatorship. Scared. Let's check this out. What is it? This is from the U.S. Army. After 250 years, it still comes down to three words. This we'll defend. This we'll defend. Let's take a look. Oh, that's better. They're doing this again now. So I think it's better than, yeah, I joined the army, but the important thing is that I have two mums. Which was like all of the ads they were putting out for a while, right? Yeah, army, blah, 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 but I'm trans. So that's the most important thing. All right. Where are we going now? Actually, I want to check this again and just see what the updates are.
To Israel before they achieved nuclear capabilities. And we could only imagine how much worse that terror could be if Iran was operating under a nuclear umbrella that could always threaten a nuclear strike if Israel were to attack any of its terror proxies. We've also seen how Iran has provided ballistic missiles and drone technology to the Russians to be used in their war against Ukraine. So here we are seeing the filing down of one of the critical axis pieces.
It seems like there's just nothing but propaganda from either side of this. Just nothing. There doesn't seem to be anything just kind of like down the middle. Like, I don't know. Like I say, I don't know. Like, as I said, trademark, Radio Baloney, trademark. History is the history of unintended consequences, right? I don't know. I understand on one side that the Israelis and Iran has been threatening to annihilate them for decades. So that's a thing. On the other hand, they weren't attacked first, although then this isn't happening in a vacuum either, because Iran funds Hezbollah, they fund Hamas. So I don't know. That's what I say. I don't know. I think that Trump supporters, when they voted for him, didn't vote for him to get involved in bombing other countries. They kind of wanted to put an end to that. And what is the U.S.'s involvement so far? Well, apparently Trump was informed, although there's mixed messaging coming out about that. They're certainly using U.S. weapons, so that's one thing. I think that Trump voters, the vast majority of them, certainly do not want any kind of deep involvement in this. And, the expectation was he would do his best to stop it, to stop these sorts of things if it was in his power to do so, but certainly not get involved. So I don't know. I'm just going to show you guys what's actually happening, right? Let's see. Let's go here. So Vance Boelter, the assassin in Minnesota who shot and killed a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband, and then also shot and injured another Minnesota lawmaker, a state senator, I believe. He's still on the run as of the beginning. And if you guys have heard anything, put it in the chat. But as of the beginning of this stream, the guy's still on the run. They don't have him yet. But it's a weird story. Here from Nick Sortor. Minnesota officials have once again refused to release assassin Vance Boelter's manifesto, saying there's not enough there. Then just release it, says Nick Sortor. Let the people decide. There seems to be this kind of trend of not releasing these either manifestos or letters, whatever you want to call them. There seems to be a pattern now of not doing that for some reason. And what is the reason for that? We know that when you had the trans shooter at the Christian school, and that was in Tennessee, I believe. There was a manifesto, and the reason it wasn't released was obviously political. It ended up being released, but it was held off for a long time, or parts of it were released, but it was held off for a long time. That seemed to be political. I never doubt that it's political when these things are held back, that it would be something that would not help the left. But let's take a look here. Hold on a second.
I'm going to give Ellen, so we're going to give it to Ellen, and then we're going to have one more question.
Can you talk a little bit more about the manifesto and what kind of motivation it might be? We're told that there might be some pro-choice lawmakers on this manifesto, and that has anything to do with the motivations here?
At this point in time, it would be premature. The question was, is the manifesto and the information that we have received, is their motivations? We are working diligently on that. There's certainly some indications within that, but there's not specifics enough. We have been, this is a very active and fluid investigation. Throughout the day, as you've been waiting, and these teams have been out working out in the field, and they have been gathering more documents and information. So it would be premature for me at this point to really say exactly what the motivation might be from these writings, but we will be continuing to work on that and provide that information when we're able.
I'm going to give Ellen, so we're going to give it to Ellen.
I understand not releasing it right away, but when it gets to be, it's a month later, it's 2 months later, then you start to question, okay, there's some sort of reason why they're not doing this. And I think if you assume it's political reason, you're probably not far from the truth. That's my assumption. What's going on here? Hold on one second. Oh, well, this is very exciting. Hold on. Here we go. Let's do this. Very exciting stuff coming up right now. Oh, it's not letting me do it. Why won't it let me do it? Hold on. Let me try again. Got something very special coming right now. Here we go. Let's try it. Don't tell me you still haven't tried 1775 coffee. Well, now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. 1,000 units. That's exclusive. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits harder than a CNN fact check. Don't really get that line. The smooth medium roast and the vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. Laser focus. No crash, no commies. All single origin, small batch, toxin free, and mold free. Mold is gross. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. Silly! A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's political opinions. And a black 1775 tumbler that says, I don't take life advice or caffeine from a woke sea witch. $170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for, I can't believe I'm saying this, only $99. That's less than 100, folks. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler alert, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio to grab your starter kit before they're gone, and I think they're going fast. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. And that'd be free speech, folks. It's the most important right that there is. Start your day with coffee that actually backs what you believe. Don't buy your coffee from commies. Oh, yes. 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 That was great. Nevada, how you doing? JDL, how you doing? Hope you guys had a great weekend. Let's see. Nevada got 7 on the like button. Everybody hit like right now. Get your free good karma right now by hitting the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It's super important. Take the choice away from the gatekeepers. Just subscribe right now. All right. I'm going to refresh this and just see. I want to see. Hold on. I want to see if there are any updates on any updates coming up on this on the run lunatic from Minnesota. Commercial break. Well, that sucks. Let's see. All right. Update: Minnesota assassin Vance Boelter's wife Jenny has been detained after a traffic stop where authorities found a weapon, ammo, cash, and passports. Jenny also previously worked for Tim Walz. Story's getting weirder and weirder. Yes, this Vance Boelter was a Walz appointee, so he was connected to him through that. What does that mean exactly? I don't know. There's always a fog of war around this stuff, but let's take a look.
Reporter Tom Hauser, and Tom has new information from multiple law enforcement sources about Boelter's wife being detained today, Tom.
Yeah, I've been working the phones for several hours, as you know, trying to track this down while we were all covering the manhunt here in the Twin Cities this morning. Sources tonight tell me the case was also taking a turn about 90 minutes to the north near Onamia in Mille Lacs County. Multiple law enforcement sources with direct knowledge of what happened tell 5 Eyewitness News there was a traffic stop at a convenience store near Onamia. Between 10 and 11 a.m. this morning, law enforcement made a traffic stop involving a vehicle carrying several relatives of Vance Boelter, including his wife. We have talked to an eyewitness who says about a dozen law enforcement squads converged on the vehicle and remained on the scene for 2 to 3 hours. We are also told by several of our sources the vehicle contained a weapon, ammunition, cash, and passports. Now, to our knowledge, no one in that group has been arrested, just detained for questioning. It's also unclear why they were stopped, whether they were being tracked, or if it was a random traffic stop. I am told briefings about this incident are ongoing yet tonight, and we will continue to track more developments. And again, sources say Vance Boelter's wife is among those detained for questioning. And I did have one source very late in the evening, just before the newscast, say that she was being tracked. So this was not a random traffic stop. They had an idea of where she was, and they were able to track her down. Again, we're still gathering more details, and we'll have much more coming up tomorrow.
Tom Hauser.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, you'd think that would just be an automatic. Where's the family? Where's the wife? Is he going to try and hook up with them? Are they going to try? Is she going to pick him up? Are they going to flee together? That was just an obvious one. But the weapon, ammo, cash, and passports. So I don't know. I don't just leave the house with all of that, right? I don't take my passport everywhere I go. So, yeah, I mean, I mean, as this develops, I'm very interested to see where this how this goes. I'm very interested to see. I am very interested to see how this develops, because it's a crazy story already. I mean, it's a horrible story. It's terrible. But I mean, there's some intrigue in this, isn't there? I'm going to go back to the live feed again, and here we are.
We are anxiously awaiting news of justice, and we will not rest until that happens. If you have any information, please contact the tip line.
I have to go on about the I think I went on about this last night. I got to go on about the sign language interpreters again, because you see their faces. Why do they all do the crazy faces? I mean, I guess I'm starting to wonder if they're not just all like escaped mental patients who just wander up, and then everybody assumes they're the sign language interpreter. You know, did somebody order a sign language interpreter? I didn't know. Well, I guess somebody ordered one. I'm starting to wonder if sign language even exists. It's just crazy people doing weird things with their hands. Maybe she was smoking a bunch of meth before this. I don't know. But it's the facial expressions thing that makes me wonder. I don't know. Frankly, I've had it with them. I'm not worried about deaf people being offended with what I say right now because they can't hear me anyway. So fuck them, right? I've had enough with these sign language interpreters. It's distracting. I can't focus on what the person's saying. I don't think we need them. How long did we go? We went through all of human history, all of human civilization without sign language interpreters. Closed captioning, people. Come on. We went through all of human history without this now, and it really caught on during the coup. That's when like everybody and their dog suddenly had a sign language interpreter. Why did that? It was a weird thing. I commented on it at the time. It's just like everybody just had one. Like everybody who got up in front of a camera had one of these people constantly, and now they're just everywhere. They're a plague. And again, I don't even believe it's a real language. I think they're just making it up. Anyway, I've had enough. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's done. What happened to closed captioning, Nevada says? These people killed it. The sign language interpreters killed it. We don't need it anymore. Anyway. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Let's go to a palate cleanser for a second after my rant. There we go. I'm going to see what you guys are saying in the chat. Nevada says, "Doing good, Richie. I hope you're doing well." Let's see. Nevada says that good karma has been paying off. I tell you guys, don't turn your back on it. Nevada says the Minnesota guy is crazy. He's cray-cray. I think that he is, actually. But I've got a theory on it coming up. I'm going to show you in that tab in a second. Nevada says, keep trying to trade Minnesota off for Alberta. Well, if it comes with Tim Walz, I don't think it'll work. Nevada says Somalia shithole. There are some countries that just are shitholes that people would not want to live in. Sane people wouldn't want to live in. In fact, the people living in Somalia don't want to live in Somalia. That's why most of them are in Minnesota now. Eves, how you doing? Good to see you. First like on X, fourth on YouTube, and fifth on Rumble. Full karma, but Rumble took down my energy picture. Oh, dear. But that's a lot of karma there. Now, for those who don't know, we stream live on Rumble, YouTube, X, and Locals all at the same time. If you were to get the first like on each one of those, that would be double good karma on each. That would be 8 good karmas. So I think that's an amount of karma you would definitely notice. I'm just saying. Let's see. JDL is outside looking for drones. We'll all be looking for drones soon. When the drones take over. Nevada says, looks like a mental patient. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think. Let's see. Oh, Nevada makes a great point here. Says, can't be a stinking commie with tits like that. No. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. All right, let's go back to this guy again. So from Data Republican, who I've started following, and he is really, really good. You aren't going to like this post, but it needs to be said about Vance Boelter. She forgot the E there. At first, I assumed Vance Boelter was just another grifter in the NGO activist space. He built a fake resume, floated around volunteer gigs, and set up shell organizations for clout. His Red Lion group has no real paper trail. His side business in, quote, security services looks like a cash grab. But the more I dug, the more different it looks. Boelter was a 7-Eleven manager, but constantly promoted himself as a corporate executive. He claims the title doctor based on a education degree in leadership. He chased every opportunity to get in front of an audience, volunteering for Governor Walz's workforce development initiatives, speaking at conferences, anything to be seen as a leader. And in videos of him at African churches, you can see him light up. He's performing. He's preaching vague, positive platitudes to foreign audiences. He wanted to be somebody. He wanted to be somebody. He wanted to be followed. There's good reason to believe that James Hartline is right. He was remodeling that building below into a church, not to serve Jesus, but as a stage for an audience that would never come. So let's go down and take a look at the building they're talking about. Looks like he was turning it into a church and church school. So what's this? A building he was remodeling. You wonder, where did he get the money for this? Like, all this stuff is expensive, right? Especially now. So, hold on a second. I want to get back to that again. Where is it? Here we go. I think he is a man addicted to attention and status who tried to get it through a lot of means. And when that attention dried up, possibly whoever cut him off his funding in Congo, he snapped. I believe Vance Boelter committed violence as a last desperate attempt to be glorified, under the delusion that killing abortion rights activists would make him a martyr or hero. This is not Christianity. I watched his sermons. They were designed to provoke emotional applause, not spiritual conviction. His actions contradict the standard Jesus gave us to recognize false prophets. By their fruits you will know them. Boelter bore no good fruit, just narcissism, manipulation, and ultimately violence. He wasn't an evangelical or MAGA. He was a man who couldn't stand being ordinary. So that's an interesting theory. I mean, we're hearing about a list of people now. I heard earlier in the news that there was no list of abortion rights activists or anything like that. The one thing we can definitely say is that, where is it? Hold on. The one thing we can definitely say is he was an appointee by Tim Walz. And hold on. Here's another thing that we definitely know. Representative Melissa Hortman sounded absolutely Nick Sortor is saying she sounded terrified, speaking to the media after she voted no on healthcare for illegals. So what we know is that she did vote no. She's a Democrat. She was the lone Democrat vote in Minnesota to vote against benefits for illegal aliens. Let's take a look.
I know that people will be hurt by that vote, and we worked very hard to try to get a budget deal that wouldn't include that provision. I know that people will be hurt.
So I don't know if she sounds terrified. Maybe I can't read her mind, but she did vote against providing healthcare benefits for illegal immigrants. So we know that. We don't know if that factored in. We don't really know. I mean, we're not mind readers, right? So, and sometimes people just snap. Obviously, he snapped. But sometimes it's just somebody who just went nuts. So we don't know. But it's a weird story. He's had this house, but then he has a family and this nice house, but also for some reason he's rooming with this guy. A lot of it just doesn't make sense. It's going to take a while for this to resolve itself, I think, for people to really know. But if the story goes very quiet really quickly, that also tells you something. That also tells you something. Because when these kinds of stories go quiet, it means there's something damaging to the narrative of the media. Let's see. Drama says, my picture is back. Karma works. Karma works. It does. Get some karma, everybody. Let's see. The dancing minivan. We're not doing They Them Energy tonight. Tuesday, we're doing it. We're doing it on Tuesday. Let's see. Rosie says, happy Father's Day to all the dads. Yes, happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. Let's see. Nevada says he was planning on attacking pro-lifers too. It's all just a big muddle right now. Let's see. Nevada says we'll never know. The great unsaid JDL says it will start to it will come out eventually. It's just a matter of when, really. And usually it's just about when is just how damaging it is to the mainstream narrative. All right, let's take a look at some of the dingbats over the weekend. So one thing I've noticed is that there seems to be, and this I really started to notice it during the Tesla protests, whatever those were, that there's like this boomer crusade happening now. And I find it very, very strange. They've been really motivated by CNN and MSNBC. The average age of the CNN or MSNBC viewer is over 70. I believe for Fox News, it's something like 68 or 69. They're right behind them. But they seem to have, CNN and MSNBC, and I guess also the nightly news would tend to skew older as well, just NBC, ABC, whatever. But they seem to have somehow figured out a way to radicalize seniors. And it's the weirdest thing. They're acting like teenagers. It's strange. This kind of infantilization of society has now infected boomers who should be over it. Like, they should be immune to this stuff. Like, there's a guy attacking a Trump doll like some purple-haired 15-year-old with a Che Guevara t-shirt on. It's weird, right? Let's take a look. Like, this just shouldn't happen. It's not a sign for a healthy society either. It's not a good sign for society. Trump-induced anxiety help. Well, they do need help. I'm not sure this is the right kind.
Talking about this morning. No! Don't! Fat boy! Fat! No!
Do they understand? Do they understand that the revolutionary communists that they're out protesting with, that they support, will take, if they got what they wanted, would take everything from them. Everything. Right? All of their money, their houses, everything. They'll kick them out and go live in it themselves. They would take everything from them. They don't seem to understand that. Like, you should know who your friends are. They have no idea. And the revolutionary communists, by the way, hate them. Who do they hate more than old white men? That's who they hate the most. That's their biggest enemy. Does this guy know this? Maybe CNN should tell him. Give him a couple of clues just for his own, safety. What a weird thing. What else we got here? In Seattle, of course, in Seattle. This is 16 hours ago now. Seattle, for hours, Antifa attacked a federal building in downtown and started fires. Drivers were violently confronted and had their vehicles vandalized. Local media stayed away and will likely ignore that this violence happened. So the mayor of Seattle loves this. He loves the revolutionary commies who, if they had an opportunity, would have his head on a platter in a second. I don't understand why these people don't realize these revolutionary communists, these Bolsheviks, these neo-Bolsheviks, hate them. If you're in the media, they hate you. You're first up against the wall. If you're the mayor of Seattle, you're up against the wall, my friend. Like, they don't like Democrats. These are Bolsheviks. They want to impose an authoritarian nightmare regime, a totalitarian communist regime on everybody. Why would you suffer this? It's just insane. It's like they're just trying to make everybody hate them. Why doesn't everybody hate them? Everybody should hate these. These are the dregs of society. These are the people that will destroy your life and your country, but also your life personally. Like, these people want a cruel, cold, horrible society. It's just weird. It's such a tragedy that people don't understand, that people just at least don't even understand, like, the last century. It's tragic. So what's this? Dacey Media. Elbows up. An unhinged anti-Trump protester in a mask and keffiyeh and maybe her friends chased me around the U.S. Embassy in Ottawa for a good 10 minutes while OPS watched. We don't have a right to self-defense in Canada. What is a person supposed to do here? You're supposed to just go home and be quiet and just let it all happen. The police won't help you in Canada, it appears. Not if you're politically incorrect. This is politically correct in Canada now. This is what's politically correct. This is what's supported. These are the perfect liberals in Canada. These are the perfect liberals for the CBC, for Mark Carney. They love it.
No bankers, no KKK, no fascists, USA!
What are you doing? What are you doing? Can you stop that, please?
Hey, oh,
Would you stop, please? Would you stop? Would you stop getting in? Would you get that out of my face, please? This person will not get it.
Democrats, Republicans, KKK, we're all the same!
Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me.
The thing is that there's no difference between these people in Canada, the exact same people in the United States. They're the exact same in Europe. They're the exact same everywhere. They're just this one single global force now, right? It's almost as if somebody's organizing it centrally. Don't you think? It's almost as if somebody's organizing this across countries. And they're just awful. They're genuinely the dregs of society. It's people like this. Maybe that's a girl. Maybe it's somebody who doesn't know what they are. Probably, I guess, like a 98% chance they don't know what they are. They think there's something made up.
Dude. Get walking into the street. She's gonna, like, you're forcing me. Sorry. He's a fascist. Why I'm blocking his camera.
Sorry, he's a fascist. That's why I'm like. They do it because they can get away with it, because the police won't do a damn thing. So they feel powerful. I mean, if that stops, it's going to be a big surprise to them. It's going to come as a massive surprise to them. If all of a sudden just the zeitgeist turns, and I'm telling you, with the level of immigration that we're getting to Canada, which is the highest in the world, the people moving here, they're not revolutionary communists, right? They're not transgenders. They're not into gender theory. They don't want to they don't think their kids are born in the wrong body. They're not down with any of this shit. They don't like weirdos. They're coming from societies that are socially conservative, right? And they're going to prefer law and order. They're not going to want people like this harassing them. So it will change in Canada. As a demographic change, a lot of things are going to change. But one of the things that's going to change is this stuff is going to be less and less tolerated. It just will be. They'll be treated, these people, these awful, awful dregs of society people, like the person holding this sign, are going to start running into people like, well, where are they? Hold on a second. Let's pull it up. Where are they? Here we go. The global march to Gaza. A bunch of Westerners decided they were going to solve the conflict in Gaza. Let's see. Egyptian forces physically move Gaza activists onto buses. Global march to Gaza protesters learned the hard way. They're getting kicked out. And it's fantastic. Western savior syndrome ends in tears every single time. So as the demographics in Canada change, these, Antifa types are going to start running into people like this. Let's see. And like this. So all these Western leftists went to Egypt so that they could march to Gaza and solve all of the Middle East problems. And the people in Egypt said, hold on a second. They said, hold on a second. You see this wall? We built this to keep the Palestinians out of our country. Because last time we let them in, they started an insurrection, as they did in Jordan and Lebanon as well, which is why nobody will take them. None of their neighbors will take them. So in Egypt, they decided, how about you just butt the fuck out and go home? We don't want you here. They sent their kids to mess with them. I mean...
Regardez-le avec son fouet, regardez-le, ils ont été payés pour provoquer, regardez le petit de 10 ans. Ils ont été payés pour provoquer la foule alors que nous on est pacifiques.
So I guess they were expecting they'd show up and everybody would say, oh, thank you so much for colonizing us with your weird leftist bullshit. It didn't go down that way. They're like, how about you just get lost? Not interested. We're not interested. No. Why this really does betray the way that the modern left views everybody in the world. That they're all, they have their they have their groups that they advocate for that they know nothing about. They know nothing about the country, its culture, or the people in it, but they just see themselves as these mother figures and everybody else as these junior members of humanity, just waiting to be blessed with their presence so they can learn the true way of Karl Marx or whatever. Like, these are obviously very naive, but just also narcissistic people, right? They show up and they were not expecting this. I mean, I laugh. I mean, I shouldn't, but like, listen to this guy. Apparently, this guy is from Wales and he's lecturing the Egyptians. And just look at their faces listening to this guy.
Where is your heart? I believe that the people of the Arabic nations have a white heart. I believe you're a good people.
They're like, we don't give a shit what you think. Stop lecturing us.
Starving children. I tried to feed these children and they shot at me. For love, for humanity, for Islam. Stand with your Islamic peoples.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, a Welshman is lecturing them about Islam and their responsibilities to Islam. I guess that solves it. Maybe just make him the leader of Egypt. He can just be the president of Egypt now. It's delusional, is it not? Yes, please come to our ancient country, this ancient civilization that you don't understand at all, and lecture us about our responsibilities as Muslims. I mean, the guy, honestly, I have to say he's lucky to get out of Egypt alive. I mean, but I'm from Wales. I'm from Wales. Why aren't you letting me colonize you with my Welsh communism?
Please stand with your Islamic brothers and sisters.
Oh my God, it's theater, kids. It's theater. I mean, it's so theatrical. Go back to Wales. This is what they're saying. Get the fuck back to Wales. Get back to Wales and join a theater club. That's what you were really meant to do with your life. You shouldn't be here. And if you stay here, well, you might get a little bit of this.
بص احنا مش عايزين اتكلمي مع الناس عشان نمشي.
I mean, the hilarious thing is these Hamasniks are, I'm sure, they all think all leftists think exactly the same. They're all in total conformity now. So I'm sure they go on endlessly about colonization, right? And colonizers and blah, blah, blah. Do they not kind of get the irony here? Do they not get the irony? They're not interested in your ideas, in your ideology. They're not interested in what you're doing. They're not interested in what you think is righteous and what their responsibilities are, right? They're being pretty clear about that by beating you, for one, and also removing you from their country. But do they not get the irony here? They don't want to be colonized by your Welsh communism. Not interested. BTFO. Just embarrassing. Let's see. This guy's Canadian, right? Let's take a look.
I'm currently at a checkpoint between Cairo and Ismailia. This is, I believe, the second checkpoint of many. And we are being held here because our passports have been confiscated. It's been almost 2 hours since we've been at this checkpoint. There are Canadian delegates at this checkpoint. There are also Canadian delegates at other checkpoints that have been held. The majority.
Geez, I wonder if his self-righteousness will ever recover. We can only pray for him.
Fucking bastard! That's what they're doing. They've got the thugs in to beat us up. You've got the thugs in to throw the bottles of water at us. They've got canes.
Are you starting to understand it, British communist? They're not your pets. You're not their mother. You're not their mother. They want you to piss off. Do you understand it yet? Maybe keep your nose out of issues and people and cultures that you don't understand. I know you desperately want to believe you understand them. Okay? You clearly don't. You clearly don't. You know what you should be doing? You should be going back and weeding your own garden. Do that first. Do that first. Take care of yourself. Go and volunteer at a nearby soup kitchen. Do something useful. You're not saving the world. These people don't want you to try and save them. They want you to fuck off and leave them alone. You're not going to save the world. You're never going to save the world. And guess what? Even the people that you think you're advocating for, okay, don't like you. Even those people are not what you think they are, and you don't understand them. And you'd best get your ass back to England and do something useful. Or just watch Coronation Street. Watch a Coronation Street marathon. Right? That's better than this. Anyway, had a little bit of a rant there. If you're not subscribed to the channel, why don't you go ahead and subscribe right now? Super important. Don't let the gatekeepers take it out of your hands. Control your own destiny. Also, like the stream. Liking the stream's a big deal. Everybody loves that. Free karma, everybody. What is the chat talking about? Let's see. It's the chat talking about Sydney Sweeney's big, juicy film roles. Her tracts of land. Nevada says, I saw a hit list of 70. You're talking about Vance Belter? I heard something something on the news passing that said that there was not actually a hit list, but I don't know. I mean, it's all just, the kind of fog of war right now. Nevada makes a great point here. What a retard. What a retard. Nevada wants a little bobblehead of AOC and Pocahontas to tie to his hood emblem. That'd be nice. I'm sure you can get those. Let's see. JDL says, anarchy isn't that good in the long run. Well, they're not even actually anarchists. I think that's a red herring. They're revolutionary communists. Oh, no. Radio streamer saying, hello, people. I'm here just tired. Overdid it in the yard the past few days. I legit have no energy. No, we're not doing it. No. That's not in the negotiation. Sunday night, they, them energy is not part of the negotiation. Tuesdays, we're going to do tons of they, them energy. You're going to have so much they, them energy. It's going to last you all the way through the week. You're not going to need any more they, them energy till Friday. Tuesday. We can't, look, these were hard fought negotiations and I have to respect them. JD Nevada says, cut the funding. They all disappear. Yes. Yes. All of it. Like the clowns for Gaza that went to Egypt there, the Antifa the revolutionary communists, all of it. Cut the funding, they're gone. Amazing Faces, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. All right. Let's see. Radio Streamer says, Egyptians, we've seen this movie and it sucks. Get out. Get out. No, don't say said. They said, shut up, commie. Commie gets nothing. Let's see. Nevada says, virtue signaling assholes. Virtue signaling assholes. I think you might be right about that. Let's see. All right. I want to go back to this live feed and see if there's anything new. So military parade. So this is a replay here. So this is from yesterday. So there was a little bit of action in the afternoon. I think about 4:00 in LA, but then it pretty quick. The blue mayors, the Democrat Party, I think it was a trial run. The original ICE protests where they were burning the cars, I think it was a trial run. They just were feeling the water, and they decided, no, we can't do a Summer of Love. Not yet. We can't start it yet. No, this is starting to look bad. There's too many Mexican flags out there. Tell the NGOs they need to start passing out American flags. That'll look a bit better. But no, we can't do it yet. We can't let our far left militia of looters and arsonists and rioters, we can't let them loose yet. They might wait now until they will do it again because they know they've got that in their back pocket. It worked for them in 2020. Or at least they think it worked for them in 2020. So these are people, obviously, the people who celebrate 20 million people just pouring into your country illegally. These are people with no ethics whatsoever, right? The people who, man from Maine, or where was he from? Man from New Hampshire, or wherever it was. Kilmore Albrego. Just a man from Connecticut or something, right? They all know the truth. And these are people with no ethics and no soul whatsoever. So they are absolutely cynical enough to see it as to set loose mobs to burn down city blocks, loot, kill people, assault people. They are absolutely capable of that. We know they did it. They did it in 2020. They were all out on social media telling people to donate to bail funds to get arsonists and looters and rioters out of prison. They'll do it. It's just when they'll do it when it is politically expedient. So it looks like these are all replays that are going on here. So I don't think we're going to get much out of that tonight, actually. I guess there's just nothing. Well, we know that Iran-Israel is going on, but I guess they've decided it's not, it's no longer important enough. Where are we going next? Okay, I think we've done enough of that stuff. Elon Musk. I want to show you this. Elon clips. I wouldn't use the Wall Street Journal to line my cage for parrot droppings. Let's take a look at this. This is always good. Elon's at his best when he's attacking far-left propagandists. Let's listen.
Is there a worse publication on the face of the earth than the Wall Street Journal? I wouldn't use that to line up my cage for parrot droppings. That newspaper is the worst newspaper in the world. If there's one newspaper that should be pro-capitalist, it's the one with Wall Street in the name, but it isn't. So I have the very lowest opinion of the Wall Street Journal. Absolute nonsense. And you clearly believe the tripe that you've read in those papers. Is there a worse publication on the face of the?
I just love it. It just feels good, doesn't it? Nevada says Maryland. That's where it was. Maryland man. Kilmore Albrego. Also a human trafficker and gang member. So, but mainly just a Maryland man. Very well. Nice work, media. Nice work. Nice propaganda. Let's see. All right, let's move on. What do we got next? Woke mind virus. What's going on here? Okay. Did we okay. From Daisy Media. So this is how far Canada has fallen. At the US Embassy, Ottawa, Canada. So of course, Canadian retards would go out and be protesting because that's what the idiots in the United States are doing. So Canadian idiots have to do the same thing. Have a few thoughts. This is cult-like behavior. It's always cult-like behavior. I'm not real thrilled about hitting a kid with a Nazi salute. 3, it's Daisy, not Darcy. Well, we know that it's Daisy. All right, let's take a look. So it's always projection, right? Like that shirt says MAGA is a cult, says the obvious lunatic. Fascist for Trump, because that's right. Only Elon Musk has ever waved at a crowd before.
What you doing over there? We're doing this with kids too. This is wonderful. Oh, he's hitting kids with a Nazi salute. Yeah. I don't know if that's appropriate for kids. This is rather cult-like behavior, I'd say. Are you guys in the MAGA cult or?
Are we in the MAGA cult?
Yeah, this is very cult-like behavior.
What we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh, you're Darcy Media. Don't talk to me.
It's not Daisy. It says it on my shirt. Yeah. You just hit a kid with that Nazi waving you're trying to do, or implied. Better not kick me. Very interesting. I would say that you appear to be in the cult.
Yeah. It's just it's all projection, right? All projection. Fascists for Trump. Why are you doing this in Ottawa exactly? Why are you doing it in Ottawa? It's so strange. Let's see. The guy who restored, I know it's not perfect, but free speech is a hell of a lot better off with Elon Musk after he purchased Twitter than without it. Fascists don't do that. These people know anything. Nothing. Wanting smaller government is not fascist. That's the opposite of fascist. Fascists want the government to be everything, to control every aspect of your life. Right? That's why I call China a neo-fascist state. It's morphed very easily from its sister ideology, communism, into fascism, which is just another leftist ideology. Right? Fascists don't want smaller government. They don't want gun rights. They don't want the people to be able to defend themselves. They don't want the people to be able to describe the world accurately amongst each other. These are all the opposites of fascism, like gun rights, free speech rights. These are the opposites. It's all projection. These are the people. Every one of these people, every one of these leftist lunatics is in total conformity on everything. You could take a list of 100 issues, right? And you could guess every single one of their beliefs. You could have a list of 100 things, and you could accurately predict with every single one of them where they would fall on every one of those issues. Total conformity. That's cult-like. But that's also fascist-like. So it's just all projection from these people. They know nothing, and they don't want to know anything either. If you ever tried to tell these people a fact, if you ever tried to describe the world accurately to these people, they would run away. And they do. Like, we know this. That's not my opinion. We know that's what they do. I meme, therefore I am, posted this. Meet Spencer. He just told his 18 million followers that he suggested Trump ride in a convertible with Melania during a parade, a not-so-subtle nod to the JFK assassination. The video has nearly 500,000 likes, and the top comment reads, "Some don't miss this time." So you watch this, and your first thought is, the revolution is not sending its best.
Honestly, I'm really excited that the Army's 250th anniversary parade just so happens to fall on Trump's birthday. Now, Trump, might I suggest...
So I'm going to go ahead and guess this is a they, them that doesn't know what they are. Is very confused as to what they are. But let's continue.
That for this parade, you drive around in a 1961 Lincoln Continental four-door convertible. I feel like that vehicle would be a great fit for you, especially because the weather is supposed to be nice, so you can drive around with the top down. Doesn't that sound nice? It's your birthday, the top is down, you're sitting in the back seat with Melania, you get a great view of the parade, and you also get a great view of...
Like, these are the weakest people probably in history. Like, there's probably never been a point in history where people this weak could exist, could have miracles like a supercomputer in their pocket and post their thoughts around the world to get, have 18 million followers. People this weak-minded and confused. It's so strange, isn't it? Rosie says, feels like this is a credible threat. Rosie says, Spencer is sick. Yes, I think Spencer's a very confused human. Nevada says, I swear they're retards. Like, these are literally, to my mind, like the weakest people in history. Yet they're the most arrogant and narcissistic people in history. I mean, it can't end well, can it? Like, I think there's going to be some disappointment for these people, although all they really want is to pretend to be revolutionaries and fighting injustice or something. So, and of course, just sanity, reality is injustice to them. So they'll always have something to complain about. Lockheed from Christopher Rufo. Lockheed Martin actually wrote down specific numbers of white people to eliminate from the year-end bonus list. So this is illegal, right? They actually wrote this down. Actions required to take: Maggard level 2, increase POC 4, recommend decrease non-minority 4, increase POC 3, decrease non-minority 3. So, I mean, this is just out and out racism. This is insanity. It's just baffling. Like, Lockheed Martin, their DEI, really? Lockheed Martin. Wow. Absolutely crazy. Here's one thing. We'll touch on this quickly. How did this happen? From Jacob Shell. There is more diversity of thought on the political right than on the political left. Although they pride themselves on open-mindedness, liberal thinking actually coalesces around a very narrow set of opinion, whereas the right diverges widely. Yes, I always say that they have to be in total conformity all the time. And this is just with leftism just generally, and it always has been the case. And if you look at, leftist, totalitarian, or authoritarian governments, nobody wants to put their head up because their head gets chopped off. That's what it was like in the Soviet Union. Everybody has to conform totally, and you don't want to stick out. That's why it's like this. That's why this looks like this. And why is that? 1 second. I'm going to find something for you guys. Hold on. Oh, let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Images. Oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. Perfect. Where is it? Hold on. I'll be right there. No, they're not going to show it here. One more second, guys. How about this one? Can I see this one? It's called the polarization graph, and they're not letting me show it. Oh, here we go. How about this? We'll show this one. Here we go. All right. Elon Musk tweeted my cartoon, Colin Wright, from Reality's Last Stand. Let's make this a little bigger. So this explains it. So 2008, left, center. So here's somebody on the center left, and then the right. Conservative. 2012, the center has moved over to here. So now this left of center person is right next to the center, whereas the leftist has rushed over to the left. Conservatives in exactly the same place. 2021, the center's moved all the way over here as the left has raced to the far, far, far left. That's woke progressive, saying bigot because the left of center person is now to the right. That's what this person thinks from their vantage point, right? Meanwhile, the conservatives in the same place. And if you want to, a part of understanding or a part of why Trump won in 2024, his triumphant return, was because of this. Because all of a sudden these people are now with the conservatives. They're not conservatives. They don't have the exact same beliefs, but they have been pushed there by the lunatics who are so far to the left, they don't know what the center is anymore. And by the way, this is where CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times, they all went here as well. So that is how you understand this. A lot of this is just all people that were left behind by the lunatics, right? Who refused to agree with every crazy thing and were struggle sessioned by the lunatics and decided I'd rather not have that. I'd rather not have that. The people over here seem nicer. They're nicer to me, right? The conservative that I thought was scary and right-wing before, turns out they're not actually that scary and they're not crazy. You're the crazy one. So there you have it. That's why. Let's see if there's something underneath here. Actually, we don't need to go into more of that. Actually, we're 2 hours in. We still got more stuff to go over. Let's just move on. This was Global March to Gaza. Memes. Let's do that. Let's refresh this first, though. Let's get back to the chat for a second, though, actually. Let's do that. Hold on. Let's see. Nevada said, I think it's a woman trying to be a man. I think you're right about that, but I'm not sure. Nevada says, I think it was a woman pretending to be a man, I think. Nevada says, ship it to Venezuela. Why don't they just go there, right? Like, don't they want to live in the socialist utopia? Just go there. They exist. I mean, they're not actually utopias. That's why they won't go there. But the framework that they dream of, their utopia, exists. Go there. Let's see. Rosie says, if anyone on the right does what they do on the left, consequences would be extreme. That's 100% true. Let's see. Radio Streamer says, I'm still low energy. I'm sorry. We have rules. right? We hard-fought negotiations. We have to wait till Tuesday. Let's see. I can't do it, streamer. Think of how much you're going to enjoy it on Tuesday, that they have energy. You're going to love it. I can't do it. We've negotiated this. We have to live with it. You have to have rules in life. We're not anarchists. We're not nihilists. Let's see. All right, where are we next? Gomar Shagaza, me. Okay. This is okay. So is this a meme? I don't know, but I just thought Kentucky man arrested for releasing a raccoon into a business months after fleeing police on a mule. The raccoon bit someone after Jonathan Mason, 40, allegedly released it into an open business. This isn't really a meme, but how could you stay mad at that? How could you stay mad at him? How could you stay mad at him? Sure, he released a raccoon into a bar that bit somebody. Sure, he fled the police on a mule, but I can't stay mad at him. I mean, look, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe right now. Don't let the gatekeeper stop you. Also, like the stream. Liking the stream is a big deal. Do that right now. Let's get on top of that right away. I can't stay mad at you, raccoon, mule man. I love it. Let's see. What's this? Good morning. Good morning, sleepyhead. Oh, that's Bill Cosby. With the pills and the waking up and the ouchie, ouch, ouch, that hurts. Let's see. So Spider-Man is saying this is exactly the kind of shit that makes people think you're retarded. Spider-Man doesn't lie. So what's this? So this is the Last of Us show. Season 2 completely just went off a woke cliff. And this is the part everybody was laughing at, where she's in a lesbian relationship with a woman who's pregnant. And she just finds out, and she says, I'm going to be a dad. Then it shows, oh, no, it's a potato. It's a potato. Oh. A potato. That's kind of mean. Let's see. Tough to be the White Ranger. Green power, yellow power. You know where this is going. Pink power. Hi. He should be able to say it because it's in context. It's in context. Why can't he say it? We all know what he means. All right. I can't believe it's World War III season already. I still have my pandemic decorations up. Does feel like it, doesn't it? Let's see. It's funny that liberals can differentiate between 85 genders, but can't tell the difference between legal and illegal immigrants. Yeah, that is funny, isn't it? That is weird. That's confusing. Let's see. Let's check in on the left today. Let's check in on the left today. This doggy wants to check in on the left. Good Lord. Good Lord. Yeah, it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. Neil Armstrong's name backwards is Nort's Mr. Alien. Nort's Mr. Alien. It's a weird thing. I think we looked at this the other night, didn't we? Nothing more to say. Nort's, yep, definitely the simulation. It's all true. So what happened? So the liberal government is constantly attacking and trying to prevent independent media from existing, but certainly from having access to things like press conferences. Let's listen to this. Mark Carney is absolutely no different than Justin Trudeau. Let's listen to this.
Carney's Foreign Affairs Department had no justification at all for keeping our reporters out. And unlike Trudeau's Debates Commission, who tried to ban us twice, this time they didn't even try to come up with a justification. They just refused to accredit us. No reason given. But that just doesn't cut it when you're the government violating freedom of the press. It doesn't work that way. So I knew we had a good chance, given that the Federal Court of Canada has already twice slapped down the Liberals for trying to block our journalists. But you never know what's going to happen in court. You never know what judge you're going to get. There's always a human factor, a risk. So I was still a bit nervous. My main concern was this: could the justice system move fast enough? Trials often take years. We were asking the federal court to have an emergency hearing the next day at 9:30 a.m. and to give us their ruling that same night. That's faster than 99.9% of all court cases. And I think that's what Carney's lawyers thought would save them. They knew that they were violating our rights, but if we couldn't get our day in court until after the G7 was done, then they would win by default, you see? It all came down to the federal court. Could they find us a judge and a courtroom quickly enough? Well, yes, they did. Now, we didn't hear that until the night. And surprise, surprise, it was only after the court said they could jam us in. That's when Carney's lawyers called us up and said they weren't going to fight back. They were going to surrender and back down and let us in. I think their lawyers knew that if they fought us in court, they would absolutely be shredded by the judge, given that the federal court has already ruled twice in our favor. They simply were hoping to be saved by a too busy court schedule, but they weren't, so they caved in.
So, I mean, that's a little bit of a white pill there, isn't it? Right? The court systems aren't totally infiltrated by communists in Canada yet. Not entirely, not yet. I mean, obviously, Carney's going to work on that. He's not going to like this. Rebel News wins the right to attend the G7. Mark Carney is no different from
Carney's Foreign Affairs Department.
Mark Carney is no different from Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau, who constantly fought the independent press. He particularly hated Rebel News. Let me show you something. Hold on. I'm just going to look something up really quick here. I'll be 1 second. This should be really fast, actually. I think I should be able to find something here really fast. Hold on. Let's see. Here we go. Here's Justin Trudeau from Glenda McFarlane. Justin Trudeau has never hid his disdain for the independent media, particularly Rebel News. This is from January 9th, 2024. Let's take a look. Justin Trudeau particularly hated all any independent news that wasn't totally just toadying to him, but he particularly hated Rebel News.
The media has an extraordinarily important role to play in our democracy, in any democracy.
So the only reason that I'm allowed to ask you this question is because today the federal court ruled that the government doesn't have the right to determine who is or is not a journalist.
The reality is organizations like yours that continue to spread misinformation and disinformation. I won't call it a media organization. Your group of individuals need to take accountability for some of the polarization that we're seeing in this country. And I think Canadians...
There we go. That's what it's really about, the polarization. He said misinformation and disinformation. You notice he didn't mention any of this purported misinformation or disinformation, right? Because it's not actually about that, and there isn't any. There isn't any. He would have said it if there was, right? It's not about that. He talked about polarization there at the end. Polarization. So that means people have different ideas. Not everybody is in total conformity with what Justin Trudeau wants them to think. That's what it's really about.
But they're also there to ask really tough questions, and not just so they can expose or challenge people in power, which is extraordinarily important, but so that citizens can feel reassured that as you go through your daily lives, you've got a professional cadre of journalists there holding us to account on everything they do.
Allez-vous leur enlever leurs privilèges reliés au passeport vaccinal? Et aurez-vous l'obligeance de répondre à ma question en tant que premier ministre ou allez-vous encore diaboliser mon média?
J'ai partagé ma perspective sur ton organisation hier soir. J'ai plus rien à dire. That the tremendous power a government has.
Just a liar, and Mark Carney is no different. He's showing his spots really quickly. He's showing who he is, right? He's showing that, this act of this kind of moderate. Some people are even saying, that especially in the media, even some of his policies are kind of conservative, right? He did steal a couple of things from Pierre Poilievre. He did steal a couple of things, but this man is no conservative, right? He didn't actually get rid of the consumer carbon tax. He brought it down to zero temporarily, right? He was going to create one economy in Canada, reduce all the trade barriers between provinces, but not really, though. That's not actually happening, right? He stole a couple of things that sounded good that he's not really, that he didn't really mean. In fact, with the carbon tax, he told us flat out that it's only because we're so stupid and we don't understand how great it is. But politically, he had to do it. So, he told us straight out. But this act of the moderate, this man is no moderate. And we're starting to see it here. The election's over. And all of a sudden, rebel news, independent news, dissident news can't be at the G7. Well, it turns out they can, because what he was doing wasn't legal or constitutional. But where's the difference between this man and Justin Trudeau? At least on this issue, well, there is none. There's no daylight between them. The same thing. They're progressives. All progressives are exactly the same and believe exactly the same things. You can have a list of 100 different issues, and you can predict 100% of the time with each one of them where they fall on each one of those issues. So anyway, that's a win. That's a win for Rebel Media. Good, great. Not all hope is lost in Canada. There's still some good news. For how long it will last, I don't know. Let's see. What's this? It's immoral now. Are they going to censor it? So from Canada Proud, let's take a look at this. So this is MP Andrew Lawton, and he is talking about Stephen Guilbeault. Stephen Guilbeault, the climate criminal, climate fanatic minister of was it public identity, Canadian identity for Mark Carney? Let's see. Let's take a look.
Mr. Speaker, baseless smears like that are why these liberals can't be trusted to regulate speech in this country. For years, this liberal government has determined to censor what Canadians see and say online. From Bill C-11, which put the liberals in control of YouTube algorithms, to Bill C-18, which squeezed out small and independent media, and to their thought crime Bill C-63. Now we learn in the National Post that cabinet ministers over there are all clamoring over who gets to be responsible for the latest online censorship law. So will the minister who gets to censor what Canadians say please reveal themselves now?
The Honourable Minister.
Even Google agreed that they should do this. Google will pay $100 million to help Canadian journalism in this country. An international.
That's to help. That is for legacy media that is loyal to the Liberal Party of Canada. That's where the money is going. Right? Oh, they talked about how it's going to help out independent media. No, that was never about that. This was about making sure, this is about buying off the legacy media in Canada, which is loyal to him and his party.
US-based company would agree to do that, but the Conservative Party of Canada would vote against this, would prevent that from happening, would want to prevent our media from getting $100 million so that there's more local content, more journalists hired in our newsroom across the country. It is simply unthinkable. It is...
Yeah, independent media in Canada doesn't have enough money to hire lobbyists and lawyers to negotiate to make sure they get their share. This is about buying off the legacy media in Canada and suppressing independent media. That's what it was about. Anything that the illiberal Party of Canada does is to suppress dissent. Anything it does around the public discourse, around media, it is all just to bring them another step closer to being the party from 1984. It's all fairly obvious, too. All right. Where are we next? All right. Let's see. Hold on. What's this? All right. I think we're good there. Let's actually hold on. Go down a little bit further. Hold on. I think that. All right. Yeah, we've covered all that stuff. All right. Next one. I've been warning. I was saying before the election, Mark Carney was going to want to get us try and get Canada into the EU, which is insane. And the media was going to push us. The media has been floating out these little things. We're seeing these polls now. These polls coming out. Should Canada seriously consider initiating a formal process to join the European Union? Among Liberals, 51% yes, no, 34%. So these are the elbows up crowd. They're never going to give up our sovereignty, except to the EU. Oh, yeah, for the EU, yeah, we'll give up sovereignty over our borders, over immigration. The EU can decide. Trade, well, they'll just decide from now on. We'll give up sovereignty on that as well. Just even our internal laws, we'll just give that up to the EU as well. None of it's real. These people have no idea what they think. They don't even know what they think themselves. They don't know why they believe things. They just believe things. It just sounds nice. It sounds progressive. European Union, that's progressive. We should join that. But you have to give up a bunch of sovereignty, right? You said you didn't want, but the European Union, though. It's good. It's progressive, right? That's progressive. That's leftist. So we should definitely do that. But the thing about the sovereignty and so, no, but progressive, though. Are you a fascist? You must be a fascist. Canada has the least informed voter base in the world, I think, at this point. I mean, there is a huge portion of this country that just know nothing. They don't know why they believe what they believe. They just know if it seems progressive, if it's something that would be approved of on the CBC, if it's something that is positively commented on by Rosemary Barton's teleprompter, well, we're in. We don't care about any incoherence or hypocrisy, or if it doesn't even make sense. We don't care. We just do what TV says. Also, TikTok says some very positive things about it. Nevada asks, anyone seen Mike Myers? No, apparently he just flew in for 15 minutes to make that video with Cardi and flew back to LA again. I don't think he likes being in Canada. Canadians eye EU membership as trusted U.S. fades. This would be the stupidest thing imaginable. Yes, I know there's been some difficulties with the United States lately, with the Trump tariffs and all of that. Yes, I know. The fact remains that we live right next door to the largest market in the world. And there's every other country that's not in our position would love to change places with us, because that's not the sort of thing you just are cavalier about. Our wealth as a nation There we go. Our wealth as a nation is deeply tied to this geographical, incredible fortune that we have. The stupidity. The EU is a basket case. It is failing. It may not even exist in 10 years. But progressive, though, and Europe's cool and socialist. So, yeah, we should do that. Do you know anything about the EU? No. But progressive and socialist and stuff. So, yeah, and the United States is bad. And they're good. Trump's got to invade us or something. Well, you think the EU, you think if Trump was going to invade Canada, the EU was going to do jack shit about it anyway? You fucking morons. Nevada says education system is so fucked. It sure is. Public schools too. Mickey says, how you doing, Mickey? What poll? The poll was what is the poll actually? Hold on. Canadian polling. I don't know. Let's see. Nevada says homeschool if you got them. JDL says Constitution first. Constitution first. Let's anyway, this EU thing, like they're going to keep pushing it. They're going to keep pushing it. And it's idiotic. Disaster for Canada. Do I even want to get into this one? Can I bear to do a segment here with Rosemary Barton's awful face? I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can. What was the next one? I can't do it. I can't do it. All right, let's move on. What's the next one? Let's see. Alberta job posting. Notice anything? Let's see. Company car. Let's go here. Bonus pay, benefits, company car, company events, dental care, flexible language requirement, French not required. Ooh. Schedule. Monday to Friday, weekends as needed. Education, secondary school preferred. Experience, residential construction, 1 year preferred. Language, Punjabi preferred. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this to ourselves in Canada? This is Canada. The preferred language is Punjabi. Don't need French. Apparently, it's better if you don't speak English. I guess it's better if you don't speak English or French, either of the two official languages of Canada. Really, they're looking for somebody who only speaks Punjabi. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we doing this to ourselves? Why, oh, why, oh, why? It is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. What's this from Rupa Subramanya? Between 2021 and 24, Canada's population growth exceeded all OECD countries, including the United States. When Canada's immigration minister, Lena Diab, was asked recently what the government is doing to ensure people leave when their visas expire, she said, when people's visas expire, they are expected to leave the country. We have rules in this country, and we expect people to follow those rules. But what if they don't? Let's see. Population growth. Canada's the red line here. The blue line is the United States. That's the orange is the OECD, Euro area. That's way down here. And the green is just the OECD generally. Down here is Canada. There is Canada. So, and Mark Carney's well on his way to this. Already, there was over 800,000 in the first 4 months of the year. By the way, I think that most Canadians actually think that he's cut immigration. I think most Canadians actually believe that. I was talking to somebody who thought he was cut that. He said he was going to cut that. Oh no, doubled it. Said 5% a year population growth, he said, which, I mean, is insane. So here we go. This is great. This is great. Everything's working out perfectly. Jobs only for Punjabi speakers now. That's fantastic. Canadians, you are being replaced. Bringing in 2.5 million people by 2025 is 100% not sustainable. Well, this is also just going to be every year that Carney's in power. The chart literally goes vertical after 2021. We are in very big trouble. So here we go. Here was like the normal, which even this here, like this was still high immigration. This was not low immigration in the world, compared to other countries in the world. But here we go. 2021, and then it goes up and up. And this is where it's going to be by the end of 2025, all the way up here. There you go. That's insanity. This is not the work. This is not going to be the work of a button-down moderate. This is the work of a globalist, a soulless globalist who does not care about the well-being of Canadians or even the people that he's bringing to Canada, because it's not going to be great for them either. This is somebody who only cares about their own interests, and his interests are not Canada's interest. So, language, Punjabi preferred in Canada. In Canada. Nevada says, look sensible. Yeah, it sure doesn't. Sure does not. Let's see. Amazing Faces says, I homeschooled my son at K through 12, and he's a critical thinker and amazing with numbers and science. Winning. Good for you. That's awesome. Nevada says, who speaks that? That's people from India speak that. From Punjab. Rosie says, too bad no one got to see Carney lose in spectacular fashion. Got distracted. No, it was just, I realized after the election and just taking a look back at the polls, what happened as soon as Trudeau said he was going to resign, you just saw a shift immediately. Now, Pierre Poilievre was never going to win that election. I realize now. He didn't blow it. He didn't lose this. He gained massive support for the Conservatives, most support in 40 years. No, it wasn't that. It was the left united because it was just too awful to imagine a Conservative government. Because Canada may well be San Francisco now. And believe me, a lot of Canada looks like San Francisco. Like a lot of Canada, like if you just don't, in the summertime, there's lots of places where we go, oh yeah, this is exactly like San Francisco. All right. Let's move on. So what's going on here? I mean, this is not cheating. I love this. This is a palate cleanser. Let's take a look. It's not technically cheating. That's the best one there. It's just in the pocket. Oh, man. JDL says, Pierre didn't do Rogan. Maybe it would have helped. Maybe it would have helped. But I think he got, he got almost 42% of the vote, which was the most in 40 years, right? They were 32%, I think, the last election. Maybe there were some young men who didn't vote who would have if he'd gone on Rogan. It was a mistake not to do Rogan. It was a big mistake. It was a very Canadian conservative mistake. Like the Patrick Bet-David stuff, I don't think that was that impactful, very impactful. Rogan, yeah, he should have done that. He could have done it. He should have done that. Would it have made enough of a difference? I don't know. But it would have made a little bit more of a difference anyway. And it would have left him in a bit better position, probably. Although you can't really be sure, right? Next time around, he should do it. All right, what do we got next? There is always something stronger than you. Knockouts. Oh, this. Okay, we watched this last night, but nobody saw last night because it was a premium. That's pretty good. Like father, like son. Oh, this is just nice. All right. Actually, I think this is actually a AI generated. I thought it was real. I keep getting tricked. I mean, they're so realistic now, the AI. I mean, look at this. What does it say here? This is an AI generated video. See the movement of the meat. Okay, so let's focus on the movement of the meat because this is now interesting for a different reason. Let's take a look. I don't know. I mean, whatever errors there are, it's pretty subtle. Oh, yeah, you can see this here. It's acting weird. Let's see if that moves again. Yeah, that there you can see. That went weird. But it's pretty realistic. I mean, it's getting insanely realistic. Yeah, it's getting scary, actually. It's actually just getting scary at this point. The thing that's scary is that anybody can do it now. Like, I think like blackmail, like Epstein style blackmail and stuff, that's done, right? That's over. You can just make anybody look like they're doing anything. So I think, blackmailing people is probably over because it's just like everybody just assume, well, it's fake. What the heck's going on here? This sponsorship is from Rumble, one that is incredibly. Let me start over. This sponsorship is from Rumble, one that is incredibly important to the survival of the company, and we love Rumble, don't we? We love the free speech on it. We want it to survive. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built a platform for the small creator, like me, Radio Baloney. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions on COVID, especially when they're just perfectly reasonable. But they did. Like a bunch of dirty commies. Facebook admitted they felt a pressure from the Biden and Harris communist administration. Shameful. Rumble did not. I can tell you right now, they did not. They held the line. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They're attacked by awful countries like Brazil and France, if you can believe it. They are attacked in corporate media. They are attacked by governments like France. They are attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Scoundrels. Corporate America is fighting to remove speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers. They don't get much of it. That's got to change. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you. But if you really believe in this fight, and this is a fight for free speech, the most important right there is. And if you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. It's beautiful. I joined it. Probably I've never been happier since, and it was literally the happiest day of my life when I joined Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. It really is a human right. It's the most important right of all. Without that, you get nothing. Rumble is offering $10 off. $10 off with the promo code STUDIO. Don't forget that code STUDIO when you purchase an annual subscription. It's really the best way to go. You just get it, and then you don't think about it for a year. Go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO. And then you can watch all of my premium content, but it's not just mine. It's like Crowder and Tim Pool and Russell Brand and Viva and all that stuff. You love it. All the stuff that you love. Rumble.com/premium. Rumble.com/premium. Like I said, if you have the means and you believe in the cause, and I know that you do, it's free speech. Now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, you know what? We get it. We're just happy if you watch us on Rumble. Anyway, let's get back to the show. There we go. Rosie says premium show. Ottawa James, how you doing? Good to see ya. Rosie says Rumblehead, good growls, convincing, needs more commie hate, 9.8 out of 10. Well, that's still pretty good. Thank you, Rosie. Let's see. Nevada says, didn't know there was a show last night. It was a surprise show. And nobody showed up. I think there was like 30 people by the end of it. Okay, but I think it was the lowest viewed show of all time by far. But I mentioned on Friday that I might jump on after the game and just kind of burn through those premium hours I had left to do. And I went on late. I don't think I started till like 9 o'clock. But that's okay. Let's see. Nevada said more commie hate. I was feeling like I needed more commie hate in that. I really was. It's okay. I can take it, guys. Raider Shrimmer says 9.8 out of 10 acceptable levels of commie hate. Needs slightly more energy. It's coming Tuesday. I'm so tempted to do the energy, though. I'm so tempted. But no, we're going to be good to our... We need to have order. We need to live by rules, or else it's just chaos. We're all in chaos. What's going on here? The dog never leaves its owner alone. This is just nice. Who doesn't love this? Who doesn't love this? Everybody claps. It's awesome. Rides around on his back. Oh, come on. Noada says, I like how he gets on his back. I know. It's awesome. Awesome. Dogs are great. Dogs are so great. What's this? Poor dog trauma. What's this? Oh, this is funny. All right, let's check this out. What? That's pretty good. I mean, I kind of mean a little bit mean. It freaked that dog out a lot. Watch until the end. Yeah, this is good. I've seen this before, but it's kind of a classic. Let's check this out. Right there.
Oh my God.
Were those was that like a remote controlled car? Are those just like remote controlled cars, or is it an actual car? I think it's an actual truck. But it looks like a toy, though. I think it's a toy. I think it's what do you guys think? Is that a remote control truck?
Oh my God.
Or is it just sped up? Is it just sped up? I don't know. You guys will have to tell me. I'm a bit confused by that one. What's going on here? Let's see. The landing. All right, let's check this out. Whenever I see stuff like this, I always think, you know what? I wouldn't mind a pet like that. Seems pretty cool. But animals like this, they don't live very long. They only live like a few years, I think a couple of years or something. So it'd be a tragedy really quick. 4 years ago, a donkey named Diesel went missing in Wyoming. He's now part of an elk community. I don't know why I get such a kick out of just animals of different species being friends and just hanging out.
There's a donkey with. I just bumped these elk, and there's a donkey with them.
I just find it really weirdly heartwarming. It's just like this donkey got loose and he met some elk and he's like, do I mind if I hang out with you guys? They're like, oh no, you seem all right, and we'll try it out. And then they just make friends and now they just all hang out together. It's weird. I guess it makes sense because they're kind of like similar size and they both like eat grass and stuff. And the donkey's not going to try and kill them and eat them. So I don't know. There's something weirdly heartwarming about it. Why can't people be like that? It's because people are awful. Let's see. New York Times suggests climate change may be to blame for the Air India crash, claiming extreme heat could have played a role. From Rupert Subramanya with a clown face there. Just give up, New York Times. Give up. I stopped trusting them after the Judith Miller weapons of mass destruction Iraq thing. I stopped believing. I stopped trusting them all the way back then. For God's sakes, just what isn't? Did we already see Greta Thunberg's sister? Did we already see her? Let's see. Candle Monkey, how you doing? Wasn't there a Steve Martin movie about that? What about a donkey living with elk? I don't think so. Drama says no suspension toy. So that was a remote control truck, wasn't it? I think that was right. Candle Monkey said looks sped up. It does look sped up. It's sped up, Nevada said. But Drama says no suspension toy. I don't know which way I'm going with it. I don't know. But here's Greta Thunberg's sister. This is literally Greta Thunberg's sister. Greta Thunberg's sister goes viral for bizarre vocals while performing at an LGBTQ+I+ event. Beata Thunberg, who goes by the name Beata Mona Lisa, posted a singing video showing off her bizarre voice. How did you know that Greta Thunberg's sister was going to be a weirdo? On Instagram, at the same time, her sister Greta was being detained in Israel. Let's take a look. You know what? She's got a nice smile. I mean, sure, she's a weirdo, but I like weirdos. This thing, I've always liked weirdos, right? But like, she just seems like a nice weirdo, you know? Like, not like she's not like she doesn't seem like a commie weirdo. Probably is. I don't know. But you know, I just compared to Greta, she seems awesome. I guess that's what I'm saying. Compared to Greta, she seems like a dream, right? Doesn't she? I noticed she had her armpits were shaved. That's a plus. So I don't know. I much prefer her over Greta for sure. You know, and I don't think she even has that kind of children of the corn thing going on that Greta does. So I don't know. I approve of Beata or Beata Thunberg. I think she's all right. I think she's okay. I'm not going negative with this. I'm going positive. Positive vibes, people. Positive vibes. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? Let's go back to the chat for 1 second. Hold on. Let's see. What's going on here? You guys are talking about possums? Let's see. Radio Streamer says, well, my inverter just exploded in the shed. Yikes. Good thing my PC is on land power. Wow. Uh-oh. Radio Streamer says, I had to rip the power wire off. Oh, dear. Rosie says, there are more efficient ways to be rid of possums. Oh, yeah. I think that the streamer hate possums. I can't remember. Canda Monkeys, Steve Martin in The Jerk. He was adopted and raised by a black family. That's right. Jerk was a funny movie. Remember watching it as a kid. I thought it was hilarious. Streamer says that's a great movie. It is. It is. Blazing Saddles is also a great movie. Canda Monkey asks, could you even do The Jerk today? Absolutely not. Or Blazing Saddles, or just anything good, actually. Canda Monkey, the sheriff is yeah, you couldn't do that. Rosie says shaved armpits, definite plus, but when that is the thing we notice, we might have not enough options. I'm just saying compared to Greta. That's all I'm saying. Streamer says, I hate them under the shed. Possums. Well, I wouldn't like it either. I got to be honest. Pee and poop under my shed and see if I still like you. Promise I won't do that. Promise I won't. I'm just saying here, compared to Greta, her sister is a dream. That's all I'm saying. Look, she's got a nice smile. I bet you she's fun. All right. What's this? Ricky Gervais. I've written hundreds and hundreds of jokes for my stand-up over the years, but this is one of my favorites. This will definitely get copyrighted on YouTube, but what the hell? Let's do it anyway. It's been a while since we had some Ricky Gervais on here. We invented that. That's a great joke. That's an excellent joke. Let's see. All right, we already saw this. She's complaining because she says the government wants to take food from her children. I played this last night. I just don't have the heart to play it again. My suggestion might be, if they're trying to find out who's stealing food from the children, well, she's pretty fat, so I don't know. I would look at her first. Did this yesterday. We did this. I think that's it. I think we're done. All right, I think we got everything. Almost 3 hours. Wow, that flew by tonight, actually. That went by quick. All right. I want to see if they went live back again. So this is live. Is this live now? Let's refresh this. So this looks like it's live. So here's some breaking news. Let's take a look.
In custody.
Boelter exploited the trust our uniforms are meant to represent. That
they got him.
Disturbing to those of us who wear the badge with honor and responsibility. We want to thank community members across the state for their support, for their tips, and their information. And I want to thank Governor Walz for his continued support through this very difficult time. With that, I will pass this off to Superintendent Drew Evans of the BCA. Thank you.
All right, we'll keep this. We'll start this up again in a second. So they got the guy from Minnesota, the guy who assassinated the Democrat lawmaker. Did you ever play the gunshots with Phil Collins? I did play it last night, I think. I'm not sure if I played it last night. Remind me, we can get back to it before we sign off. Maybe I'll sign off from YouTube before we do that. YouTube won't like it. But anyway, yeah, so they got the guy. So let's continue watching. We'll keep going for a while if you guys want, because this is breaking news right now.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Drew Evans. I'm superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. As was noted and was previously described, Vance Boelter was taken into custody in Sibley County. We were with you earlier today when we provided information about the manhunt and the myriad of law enforcement that have come together working in partnership so that this evil cannot be continued.
I've just got to say, this sign language interpreter, I'm going to say again, I don't think sign language is even real. I think they're just making it up. I think that's what she does to her girlfriend, her wife on their anniversary.
Continued. The first step in a case like this is that we take him into custody, and then the work will continue and begin to make sure that we have all the evidence we need to ensure that he is held accountable for his crimes. Please bear with me, but I think it's important because it has been noted by the governor, just to give you some background on the teams that were down there. And I may even be missing some in terms of this because there were law enforcement partners, not just from the Twin Cities, but across the state of Minnesota together. From the Brooklyn Park Police Department, the Tri-City SWAT Team, Eagan Police Department, Burnsville Police Department, our South Metro SWAT Team, the FBI, ATF, United States Marshal Service, State Patrol, Washington County Sheriff's Office, Ramsey County Sheriff's Office, the Richfield Police Department, St. Paul Police Department, Bloomington Police Department, Sibley County. We had Riverview Medics, Green Isle Fire Department, and Lifelink in the area, in addition to Prior Lake, Crow River SWAT, and the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. And again, I may have been missing, and I apologize to my partners for that we do that. I share all of that for you because that's the commitment when this sort of evil is in one of our communities, that law enforcement comes together to put all of their resources together to make sure that that person is taken into custody. That is so that people across the state of Minnesota and legislators that were targeted in these attacks and that may have been listed can breathe a sigh of relief as quickly as possible as we came together in an incredibly complex set of circumstances in that. He was arrested, as you saw earlier this evening, in the area of 35600 block of 200th Street, Green Isle. What happened in that is, as we noted, there was a manhunt going throughout the day in that area that we've discussed previously, and there was information provided that he was seen in the area. When that information was provided to the investigators that were conducting the ground search, they converged on the area with a number of SWAT teams with the assistance of the Air Wing from Minnesota State Patrol, and we'll provide a few more details about the end of coming into custody in a little bit. But he was taken into custody at that time. He is in custody, and a reminder for anybody that was not, when we've previously said that, taken into custody under a state criminal warrant. That information will be made public, if it is not already, detailing the complaint that he is charged in the cases at this time with the murders of Speaker Hortman and her husband, Mark Hortman, also with the shootings in John Hoffman and Yvette Hoffman for those crimes, and will be moving forward. We are also in close contact with our federal partners, both the FBI, United States Attorney's Office, who are examining whether or not additional charges should be brought at the federal level related to this at this time. There is a lot of investigation that continues, and I'm going to turn it over to Chief Bruley to provide some comments on this and the work. I just want to tell, certainly for the communities of Champlin, city of Brooklyn Park, you both have incredibly professional police departments that work day in, day out and tirelessly in this situation to bring justice and work towards that, not only for the families and the loved ones and the community that are impacted, but for the entire state of Minnesota. And our teams are incredibly proud to work alongside them and all the law enforcement partners. And so with that, I will turn it over to Chief Bruley for some comments on this, and the work will continue in partnership with them and others moving forward. Chief.
Good evening. I'm Police Chief Mark Bruley, Brooklyn Park Police Department. Just a few comments. One, I'm very proud to tell you that we took the suspect into custody who is responsible for this. That was within 43 hours of the incident. There's no question that this is the largest manhunt in the state's history. Just down at the scene where he was taken into custody, there was 20 different SWAT teams over an extremely large area hunting this individual down to take him into custody. I believe that the state of Minnesota and certainly the city of Brooklyn Park should be extremely proud of the police officers within the city of Brooklyn Park, but the partnerships.
So I doubt there's going to be much actual details coming out tonight, considering it's already fairly late. So probably tomorrow, over the next couple of days, they'll be releasing stuff. Will they release whether it's a manifesto or a letter or a note or whatever it is? There's something that they have that's written by him. Will they be releasing that? Recently, I don't think that they release those things immediately unless it's explicitly like far right or something like that. You know, if it's not that, it just never gets released for obvious narrative control reasons. So that'll happen over the next couple of days. You know, so Tuesday night, we will check back in on this again. And yeah, and I think we'll call it a night. We're 3 hours in. I think that's good for me tonight. I'm getting tired. Let's check out the last of the chat here, and then we'll call it a night, people. Let's see. Nevada says this guy is going to get Epsteined. Maybe. Nevada says, here we go with the sign language. I know. Ottawa James says, yeah, the sign language. Yeah, we're sick of it, right? We're sick of it. We don't want it. We don't want any more. Rosie says they got him. That law enforcement officer impersonation thing is horrifying. It is. There's a murder in East Tennessee still unsolved, perpetrated by an impersonator. Nevada says that fucker is just playing. It's Fargo all over again. Someone is going to make a movie about this. Maybe, yeah. Starring Tampon Tim. Tampon Tim. Well, he's a part of the story. Rosie says, ESL is real. These, do you mean like ASL, like American Sign Language, is real? These animated interpreters are not real. They are just puppets for entertaining the people with impaired hearing. Think Sound of Music, lonely goat herder. Am I right? More like a lesbian goat herder. Am I right? Am I right? I think so. I think I am right. Nevada says mime artist. Nevada says, what's that game where you try and guess what someone is describing? Is that charades? I think so. Let's see. Candle Monkey says, defund the police and he gets away. Well, they tried that, Minnesota. It did not work. Radio Streamer says, for what it's worth, lost an inverter, repaired an air conditioner. Oh, yikes. Air conditioner you need. Amazing Faces says, thank you. Well, thanks to you, Amazing Faces. Thanks for showing up. Ottawa James, I get thanks. Says thanks to Radio B. Thank you too. And next month it's going to be really important because I believe next month or the month after, they're adding a new requirement onto the to be in the creator program on Rumble, which has actually been really good for me. But it's going to be unique people in the chat. So I don't know what the number is. I don't think it's going to be that many, but I'm going to have a quota of people in the chat coming up as well as the amount of hours and all that stuff, and the amount of hours watched and amount of hours streamed, and then the amount of hours premium streamed. So there's going to be another one. So it will be awesome if everybody, when that comes in, maybe it's next month, maybe it's the month after. I know they're bringing that in. When they do, I will tell everybody, and it will be really helpful for everybody to get into the chat, as many people as possible, at least just for like one chat. Let's see. Rosie says, you will not believe the name of the woman murdered in Knoxville, Rose Bush. Really? Husband's name was Harry. Is that a joke? Is that a really, really distasteful joke? Harry Bush. Really, truly. Good. Wow. We're in a simulation, folks. That seals it up right there. Gandalf Mikey says, why not do transcript subtitles instead of sign language? That's what we were saying earlier. Great minds think alike. All right. Rosie says, quota in premium chat or all chat? Well, I don't know. I think it's just all chat, which I don't think will be a problem. I mean, as long as the number's not too high, we should be fine. But all right. Fact check, no joke. Harry Bush. Harry Bush. That deserves some applause. All right. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you to the chat. You guys are awesome. You're half the show now. You know that. We're boring without you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks to everybody who's been watching. You still have an opportunity to subscribe to the channel. In fact, you can do that just at any time. And take the choice away from the gatekeepers. Take that choice away. Take back your own agency. Be in charge of your own destiny and subscribe to the channel now. And also liking the stream. Liking the stream is a big deal. Everybody knows that. You get free good karma. Free good karma. Why would anybody turn their back on that? Don't make a lick of sense. Not in these troubled times, folks. Anyway, that's it for me tonight. I'm tired now. We will be back with Radio Baloney Live on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. And that is when the Oilers are going to be playing Game 6. And you know what? I don't even give a shit. I'd rather be here with you guys. And then record it. And I don't know. I feel like they're going to lose anyway. So I don't know. I'm starting to just not care anymore. But anyway, I'll be here Tuesday, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Hope to see everybody. Everybody have a great night. See ya.